Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. Today, my guest is Howie Kra, and he is a highly energetic and dynamic entrepreneur, podcaster, and speaker, known not only for his resiliency and daily mindset practices, but also for driving revenue and providing sales leadership for more than 20 years. He excels in growth sales across product lines, exploring new business development opportunities, and encouraging excellent sales based on the establishment of authentic relationships. Through his extensive professional and personal experience, which ranges from startup companies to private investment firms, Howie provides the thought leadership and subject matter expertise across a wide variety of industries. Howie is known for his spirit of resilience, his consistent ability to navigate challenges, including being run over by a bus, connect with others, connect with customers, and consistently exceed business and goals and quotas. Welcome to the show, Howie.
Thank you, Jim. So excited to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, excited to have you here. It's a good time. I got to know you a little bit, talked a little bit of sports before the show. Anybody who can talk sports with me, I like.
Unfortunately, between the Lions and the Jets, there was not a lot for us to talk about.
Well, you got me there.
Right.
No, it really wasn't. It's a disaster in both places. I talked a little bit about the Knicks. That's a disaster too.
I think there's a common thread amongst all these organizations, and it's really, I think, from leadership.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It boils down to ownership in all three situations: the Knicks, the Jets, and the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about these organizations that own them. You know, I happened to catch a really great HBO show the other night called The Art of Coaching. Whether you like them or not, Nick Saban from University of Alabama and Bill Belichick from the New England Patriots each own 6 titles. So
Yes.
Between them, they have 12 titles. And one of the things that I found remarkable in watching it was those guys started coaching in their teens. And then their roads collided. You know, they were at college teams together. They were at the Browns together. And it was like, they're not overnight successes. And a line that I took away from it is Belichick said, just do your job. So if you have 12 coaches and each one, say there's a special team, offensive, defensive, quarterback, if each one did their job and did it well together collectively as a team. So probably Saban and Belichick, if they wanted to be, they probably could have been great salespeople too.
They probably could have been. Belichick was with the Lions too. I didn't know if you know that he started there in the NFL.
Imagine if they would have kept him.
Yeah, you know, we can't keep anybody that's good. You know,
Right.
But it is. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because coaching is kind of like sales because you have to sell yourself and your philosophies to the team. The team has to. We always call it buying in, right? So yeah, so basically you're right. They're selling themselves, but everybody sells themselves to a point, don't you think?
Absolutely. They say that 1 in 9 salespeople, 1 in 9 people in this country are salesmen, and the other 8 are always selling too.
That's pretty good, actually. So let's get into a little bit more about you and your story. What lit your fire to want to become an entrepreneur? We'll start there.
So I guess having been a product of Wall Street, got to Wall Street, was working with Lehman Brothers and watching companies go from inception to thinking to thoughts to raising capital to developing product to systems and processes to eventually going public. And having worked at Lehman Brothers for a very long time and having worked in the high wealth area where you got to see clients actually create businesses and go public, that was like, I can do that. So I would say probably in the 90s, pre-internet or into internet, there were some interesting opportunities to get involved with some startups. And we were able to take a couple of them public. It was really a fun ride.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can you tell me, is there anything that's held you back either internally or externally along your journey, just kind of like things in the road or things you had to go through. Just let us know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is, we all have fear. The fear of the unknown. What is it going to be like if I have this incredible job at Lehman Brothers that's bringing in really nice income? And what if I take a shot and go start something over there? And it's going to require me walking away from this comfort place I'm in. There's a lot, and you have responsibilities along the way. So it isn't always like you don't want to do the idea, or you don't have the passion, or you don't have the belief in it. But sometimes circumstances that you're living don't allow you to make that. So if you decide, no, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to mortgage my house, I'm going to take all of my savings, and I'm just going to work this thing because I believe in it. That's the courage it takes to do an entrepreneurial startup, because it never goes according to plan. It always takes longer. It always requires more capital. And there are going to be, just like in life, there are going to be mishaps along the way. I think back to, I've been involved with some great companies and some not so great. But even the great ones that came through it, we had real challenges along the way. You're never without challenges, which again is like life. Who goes through this game of life unscathed? Nobody. Do you know anybody?
I don't. I really don't. Yeah, it's almost like a training ground. You know what I'm saying? Your whole life is a microcosm of your business and vice versa, because they both mirror each other to a point. So everything on the inside of you, all the stuff that you got going on, it comes out in your business. You know what I mean? And
we'll go back to the sports, right? That's why the Jets and the Knicks and the Lions, they just have dysfunctional ownership. There really isn't great ownership from the top down. And whether you're building a business, raising a family, whatever it is, you need to have some systems and processes. You need to have some good thought leaders. You need to implement strategies. You can't just wing it.
Exactly. Well, you guess you can. There's evidence for that.
Show me winners who wing it.
You mentioned the Knicks. No, I'm kidding.
Right, they wing it. Do you know that since 2000, they've been in one playoff game in arguably the best arena in all of sports, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
They've had one home playoff game in 20 years.
That's crazy.
You don't even have to try, and you could probably do better than that.
The Lions have never won the NFC North. It's been 27 years that it's been the NFC North or something like that. Never won it. Never been in a Super Bowl. Never been in a championship game. They were in one championship game with Washington and got killed. But that's how bad it's been for so many years, since 1957.
Yep, it's a long time.
It's ineptitude. It just is. It really is. And it's like we're talking about, having systems in place and strategies and things, but you have to have some intelligence too. You just have to have something up here that, you pick the right people to implement that plan.
Yeah. But unfortunately, like it said, it comes from the top down. When you look at some of our greatest brands in the world today, I mean, whether it be Apple or Google or McDonald's or Starbucks, I mean, you look at Amazon, right? I just ordered something that showed up at my door a few minutes ago from Amazon, and it's unbelievable. It's just they're incredible in the way that they get it all done.
Yeah, their workflows, it's just their strategy, the way they put their systems in place so that when you make that order, that everything goes in motion at that point to get you your package as soon as possible and to keep it intact on that whole way, that journey there. And they're continually trying to improve that with the drones that they got coming out and all these other things.
All these things. I mean, if you buy a book about sales, they're going to show you 6 other books about sales that you might like to read, and they're going to remarket it, repurpose it, they don't stop. And you just, with a click, I'll buy that. It's a click.
Yeah, so easy.
I think one of the greatest inventions You know, if you ever fly into Las Vegas, you go over desert, and then all of a sudden there's lights that just go for miles, casinos, entertainment, golf courses. It all came about because of dice and cards. But the real brilliance there were the chips. People lost value of what they were really gambling because they put them on chips. I think that's like the Amazon one click. You don't even know, you just click.
You don't realize that you're spending so much because you have the chips. That's a really good insight. Holy cow. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, it's the ease in which we can purchase something nowadays. You know, it used to be you have to go to the store, get out your money, you know, pay the person, have them fumble with the change. You know. So now it's like click, like you said, and we got something coming to us.
So one of the things that I do is I do a daily live video. Every morning at 6:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram, 4 minutes, and then at 7 o'clock, I do it again on Facebook Live. So I started that. I'm almost at 365 days consecutively. I've never missed a day. So this month that we're in, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but right now we're talking about resilience. And inside resilience, there's a lot of different things. So this week that will end tomorrow, we've spent it on mindfulness. You know, what does it mean to be mindful and mindfulness? And next week means starting on Monday, I'm talking about purpose. So there's a great author. I know him. His name is Joey Raymond, who wrote the all-time book on purpose. So I gave it to somebody the other day. So I passed the Barnes & Noble last night, and I haven't been in there in so long. And I went in there, and the store is like, it's a ghost town. And it's so big. And my first thought is, how do they pay the rent? How do they stay in business? So, of course, it took me 20 minutes to find somebody, ask if they have this book. And they say, no, we don't, but we have a copy in our warehouse. We could send it to you. And I'm like, I just open my phone and click Amazon, and I'll have it in the morning anyway. Like, it's just, the world has changed.
Yes.
So, like, that's why we don't walk into a big Barnes & Noble anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I had a good time. I saw titles. I looked around. The people were nice. But the world has changed. And if in sales and if you're into marketing, you better change with the times. And walking into Barnes & Noble didn't feel any different than it did 10 years ago. The only thing that felt different, it felt like more of a ghost town.
Yeah, because it's so much more convenient nowadays. I think that's what you're hitting on, is because they had Starbucks. In ours, we have a Starbucks in it and all this, and they could sit there and read books, and it was really a popular hangout for a long time. And now, not so much, because people could just sit at home and order the same exact thing that they could order there and get it faster.
Yep.
You don't even have to leave your house. So yeah, you're right. Your marketing has to change. Your vision has to change. They tried to do, I think it was called Nook, I think at the time.
Yeah, they tried that, which was like Kindle.
Yeah, like the Kindle.
I don't know anybody that has a Nook.
No, it didn't work. It didn't work.
I mean, and the size of the real, you know, where I raised my kids, we had a Barnes & Noble. That was like the meeting place. It was everything. It was, you know, I always joked we were on the East Coast in Bethesda, Maryland, but it was like our Santa Monica Pier. Like, everybody met at the Barnes & Noble. If you're going for a run, you met at the Barnes & Noble. If you were going to take your kids to read books, you Barnes & Noble, right? It's not there anymore. It left. It went out. So, you know, it's just the business world keeps evolving and changing. You have to have your purpose. You have to have your why. And then you have to stay flexible. You have to pivot. You know, that's a word that I spend a lot of time on, pivot, because the only thing that's constant is change.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have change. So what do? Either let the change steamroll you, or you change and you adapt, you pivot, and you survive and you thrive. Exactly. And that's really what the role is of an entrepreneur, of a leader, of a sales, you know, person that's in that role of helping others, and consistency too. You know, if you're in sales, and we talked about that, you got to put the effort in every day. It's not like Monday I'll make 200 calls and Tuesday, I'll make 10 and Wednesday I'll make 50. No, consistency. It's like anything else. If you're training for a marathon, an Ironman, if you want to be on a diet, if you want to do Pilates, if you want to do yoga, meditation, it's all about having goals. And the craziest thing is everybody started the new year with resolutions. So as we're talking here, we're going to get close. We're almost into February. Studies show that 92% of the New Year's resolutions that were made will fail by the second week of February. Only 8% stick. Because you know why? They're just words. When you say you're going to do something, write it down. Without writing down a goal, it's just a dream, right? Like somebody says, I want to run a marathon. Well, you got to run a mile first. Write that down. Set up, I'll run 1, then I'll get to 3, I'll get to 5, I'll do a 10K. Then I'm going to go for a 10 miler. And then at some point I'm going to do a half a mile. It's small steps along the way. And that's the problem too, is like the Lions going back, like, yeah, we want to win the Super Bowl. But wouldn't it be great to just be in the playoffs, right?
Well, we have been until we screwed that up.
I know, but I'm saying manageable goals.
Yes,
like don't put all your eggs and efforts on Super Bowl or bust. That's New England's story, or that's the Yankees in baseball. But in real life, like we need to measure our goals and we need to write them down. And I think that makes such a world of difference.
It does make a world of difference because when you write something down, for some reason, it becomes more tangible to you. You automatically look at that like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Let me take this goal, this huge goal, cut it down into bite-sized pieces, make that first goal, write it down. That seems attainable. If you start talking Super Bowl, like the example was with the Lions, that's not attainable.
I like to call it accountability. And something that really helps too in the world of sales is, let's say you and I work together and whatever, we're selling medical equipment and we have quotas or whatever. Well, why not challenge each other? Why not say, what are you looking to do this month? What are you looking to do? And then stay on somebody, every day. It doesn't have to be a long phone call. Believe it or not, we have texting now. You can just text, if the goal was to sell 1 machine a day and you didn't hit your goal, 0. 1, 2, and you just stay accountable. And there's so many tools that are at our fingertips these days to be more efficient, more productive, and more, accountable.
Very, very much so. And that spurs you on. It's a good competition. I don't really believe in competition too much. I really like collaboration more than I like competition in business, to be honest. But what you're talking about is, hey, hey, did you get that today? Hey, bro, did you get did you get that one sale today? And we can needle each other a little bit. It's not too bad because you know how we are, you know what I mean? But that, it gives us the energy to go do it, Yeah.
I'm all about goals and accountability, writing them down. And every day you could find the good in every day, even in a bad day, there's something good. Somebody's always got it worse. So I think we got to stay positive. We I keep a gratitude journal, 2 things a day I'm really grateful for. Hey, I'm grateful for this interview. I'm glad that we met. We had a great talk before. Sure, we'll continue after. So I'm grateful that somehow the internet found us.
Yeah, me too. Because it's been, you can liken things to other things, but when you really know sports and stuff like that, I know it's not sales actually, or what we're talking about. Boy, when you know and understand that concept, there are a lot of things that parallel that to everyday entrepreneurship. It really does. The perseverance it takes to be a player and the strategies it takes, coaching and all that stuff. It's still, it's a lot of lessons that we could learn from that and apply to our entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I think too, the thing that gets discounted so much is the importance of building relationships. Because as the world changes, price changes, There's going to be competition. So, if you're selling a product that pretty much 10 other people are selling, and you have a relationship with somebody that's buying from you, don't take that relationship for granted. Nurture it, treat it well, get to know that person, become a friend, a part of their life, so that if and when it comes to a decision over price, and yours might be a little bit more, there's going to be perceived value there that, no, I want to do business with Howie. He goes above and beyond for me. I get it. I've been with him 9 years, 12, just, so many times in the pursuit of new relationships, we leave the good ones and the old ones behind. And just like in life, you can't do that, because
No, you can't do that.
then those relationships will fall apart.
That's true. And building relationships is extremely important because you build trust. I mean, if I've got 4 or 5 different offers of something I want to buy, so, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I've got this person, and I know you, and I trust you, it's going to be you. The price is, I don't think the
Right.
price is as important as the person that you trust.
Jack Daly, one of the all-time greatest sales trainers, salesmen. I call him a good friend. Jack uses this line all the time. People do business with people they trust. People do business with people they like. So if you can get people to like and trust you, the hard work's done. And the other thing too is that what really turns me off is, let's just say you're covering me, you're my sales guy, and we do business every month, and you call me up for an order. I don't hear from you for 30 days. You call me up for another order. I think that's so bad. I think there needs to be calls that have nothing to do with the sale. Now, I know I don't want to keep talking about sports because maybe other people that are listening aren't, but like if I knew that you liked the Lions, I would take the interest and read an article or see a score or know a game and just pick up the phone and go, hey, Jim, how are you feeling this Monday? Another rough Monday? And we laugh, we commiserate. But then the next time I call you and I need something, there's nothing. In regular life, there's nothing worse than hearing from people you haven't heard from for umpteen months asking for a favor.
Absolutely.
See right through it.
Because then you don't feel worth anything.
Excuse me?
You don't feel worth anything to them.
I don't even put it on myself. I just say that their skills, like, how dare you come into my world every once in a blue moon because you need something. Life's got to be a two-way reciprocal street. I have no problem giving you the shirt off my back. But every once in a while, you should give me yours too. We're in this together. And too many times in life, and I know I teach it to a lot of people, it's okay for you to call somebody that's your account and tell them about something you heard in the industry that might even be a competitor, just so you're showing them what's going on. And that value and that trust and the friendship gets built up. But like, why is he telling me that? Because you care about me, my business. It's a relationship. And just like you could think back to the friends that you've had for decades, or, the family relationships, or your best relationships, they don't just happen. You got to work at them.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And I think more and more entrepreneurs are, I would just say it this way, they have really big hearts now. And I know that we are all trying to help each other. I think that at least the people I've interviewed, this would be my 58th interview.
Right.
And I think that that's exactly what keeps happening. And people try to help each other. They try to raise each other up, and they try to, be involved in each other's lives. I have a partner, I'm working on something right now, and she just lost her grandmother. So, I've been talking to her, seeing if we can help and, whatever we can do right now at that time. And don't worry about the business side of it. We will fix that later. Get you okay first.
Yeah. You're seeing this from companies a lot more too. As I mentioned the word purpose, and I just finished reading this incredible book, but companies, because of what's going on in the world, whether it's climate change or equality in the workforce or what happened with the Me Too movement, there's all these things now that companies just can't randomly throw out product. they have to be more conscious. And I just got invited to, I think it was called Capital Conscious or something like that, where it's not just about money, everything these days. It's about doing the right thing by the planet. I don't know how your weather's been, but there's definitely some funky climate change going on.
Well, our weather got back to normal yesterday. We had
had
a
a little,
snowstorm yesterday.
but you had a little spurt a couple of weeks ago, right? It was crazy.
Actually, we didn't get nothing out of that. We didn't get
No?
anything where I'm at. I'm in Muskegon, Michigan, so it's right by Lake Michigan. We had mostly rain.
Right.
They were talking about freezing rain and sleet and all this. It melted like a day and a half later. We've had hardly any snow except for November, but we just got hit a little bit yesterday.
Right, but not like it used to be.
Not at all. No way.
I mean, again, you look at these late NFL football games, there hasn't been a bad weather game this year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird too, because usually there this time of season.
Right, yeah. We're almost at February.
Yeah. You're right. Things change all over the place. I mean, we usually average 100 inches of snow here because we're by the lake, but I don't think we got more than 20 right now.
Well, I'm sitting talking to you from South Florida, so that's something that we don't even deal with.
Yeah. So how many inches of snow do you have? No, I'm just kidding. None.
It just doesn't. It doesn't come to this part of the world. What I think is really exciting too with entrepreneurs, because I work a lot with startups and I talk to a lot of companies starting out, is that the pace of technology. It's just unbelievable what is coming out. Like when you think you've had the latest and greatest technology, something better, faster, quicker. It's just the pace of it, and even in the food world now too. There's this movement towards plant-based foods. I was pretty lucky to be involved with a startup right around 2000. It was a beverage called Honest Tea.
Oh,
Honest
yeah,
Tea
I know
was
that.
sold to Coca-Cola. Was one of the first organic, free traded, less calories. And back then, organic wasn't a big word. Free trade wasn't a big word. And now the founder has gone on to become the executive chairman of Beyond Meat. And Beyond Meat is that new meat substitute that, Impossible Burger is a Burger King. They're testing this. And it's just like, it brings my awareness to what's going on with food. And that whole world is changing. So there's change everywhere. And there's the entrepreneurial spirit, I think, is bigger and better than it's ever been. And it's just exciting to see what people think of and what they could bring to market and what they're doing.
And I think the online space is very exciting too. It has been for quite a while, but now more people are going, even the brick and mortar stores they have to have an online presence now. And before it was unheard of for like a store like say Walmart or something like that to even ask for an email. But you see that more and more now that people are getting on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, almost every day you see another retailer closing the brick and mortar. I agree. I saw yesterday Bose, who makes the noise canceling headphones. I think they said they closed 125 stores. It's just every day. They're not going out of business. They're just going to put their effort and energy into the internet.
Yep. And it used to be that malls were the place to go and the place to hang out and all these things. But now, most of these malls are going under.
Yeah.
At least that I see.
The really, really strong malls in the highest of demographic areas are surviving. But the B and the C malls, they're dead space. They have to figure out how to repurpose them, what to do with them. I mean, they're still there, but they're a fraction of what they used to be. So there you go, pivot and change. What if you're that landlord? What if you own that real estate? What do you do? At one point, you were sitting on Easy Street. You were 100% leased, getting premium rents, getting percentage of sales, and you were high on the hog. You didn't sell it. You didn't do anything with it. Now you're 50% occupied. You're occupied with inferior tenants. And, what do you do with it? Now you have an asset that's bleeding you. So you got to pivot and figure out what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've seen Radio Shack go under here. I've seen Circuit City and a lot of
The
those
list
things
goes
that were
on.
huge.
Huge, right.
And
Radio
never
Shack.
thought that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, the list is, if we really went through the list, we'd both be like, we forgot half of them that went out already. But yeah, it's huge. But that goes back to resilience, because all those people that worked at Radio Shack, they were working, getting a paycheck. They had to go figure out how to get a paycheck somewhere else. Those same people from Circuit City. So forget the companies a minute. It boils down to the individual employees. And we're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people who have to refigure it out. And I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs come from, because a lot of high-level people at those places who think they could do it a different way, a better way, their own way, are starting to be entrepreneurs at a later age in life, because the windows of opportunity to go work at an Apple, a Google, a Microsoft, or an Amazon, they're not there. So that mid-level management person is taking on, some different challenges. That's why I think you see a lot of these franchise industries, whether it be the Orange Theories or the Massage Envies, they're doing so well because you have that middle level management that has a few dollars that could buy a franchise with a proven brand, with marketing, and they just have to manage it, run it, and, sell memberships or whatever it is. But you're seeing a lot of growth in the franchise arena.
Yeah, I see that too. And that makes a lot of sense of why that's happening, because a lot of those managers and store managers and people like that, if they couldn't find another place, they'd probably been thinking about starting their own thing anyway. And I think a lot of people want to be their own boss. I really do.
Especially after they get caught up in one of those downturns, one of those, corporate downsizings. And, if somebody's 50 years old, it's not as easy to go get hired at, American Express anymore.
It is not. It really isn't. Oh, what a conversation so far. Can you tell us a little bit about your company, what you do, and things like that for our audience, just to let them know how they can get in touch with you?
Sure.
What you can do for them.
Great. Thank you for asking that. I appreciate that. So the name of my company, my name is Howie. That's Howie. And we like to say, how we doing it? So if you go to the web, just type in how we doing it, HOWIEDOINIT.com. Once there, you will find a lot of the archives to what I do every morning live on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to go to Instagram or Facebook and sign up, it's How We Doing It. I'm on LinkedIn. I do a lot of posting on LinkedIn. You could find me by my name, Howie Kra, or How We Doing It. But what How We Doing It does is that we also have a weekly podcast we release every Thursday. We speak to resilience. We talk all about the art, the science, and the realities of what it takes to survive and thrive and be the best version of you by really honing in on resilience. Now, having been a salesman my whole life, sales is resilience, because there's no other industry where you get rejected as much as we do, but yet you can be so successful. So I speak on stages, I go to companies, I work workshops, or I give keynotes where I come in and I show you how to be the most productive, accountable, disciplined version of yourself.
And that's something that we all need as entrepreneurs, is because we want to give that 100% every day to everything that we do. And sometimes that's really hard if we're not focused. We don't know exactly what that is and what it looks like. And I think that service is very beneficial, Howie.
Yeah, so thank you. And, you can, like I said, if you follow me, there's a lot of great stuff on my website. And I'm in the process of writing a book right now. That book hopefully will be done at the end of the first quarter. I am just constantly surrounding myself in situations of what it is to be resilient. Is that something you're born with? Is that something that we can develop that muscle? Science has it both ways. I believe it can be taught. I believe that we all can do better. We just have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't just say we're going to do things. We've got to write them down. We've got to look at them. We've got to make them in easy steps. Going back to resilience, if you're a baseball player and you get up 10 times, most likely you're going to make out 7. That means you're a 300 hitter. That means you failed 7 out of 10 times. Mm-hmm. But if you're even that good, that's really good, right? 300 hitter, there aren't even that many. That's what your life needs to look like. You're not going to hit 1,000. You're not going to go 10 for 10. So how do you handle the rejection, the failure, the chaos that comes with it? It's just part of the road. And once you realize that, we talk about, you noted something in the beginning of the conversation. When I was younger, I got run over by a bus. So that was a pretty big deal in my life because at 13 years old, they told me I would never walk again.
Wow.
I just recently did a marathon. I do triathlons. I have overcome that. And, one of the things is that you have to deal with adversity. So we talk about how we do it. It talks about 4 buses. You got your career bus, your financial bus, your health bus, and your relationship bus.
That's good.
And they all veer off the road. They're never 4 lanes, perfect, sun shining, and not a cloud in the sky. One of them will either have a blowout, a flat tire, it'll veer off the road. So how do you get it back on for a smooth journey? And that's what we talk about.
That's amazing stuff. You speak to resilience. I know a lot about that. I had kidney failure. I had 3.5 years on dialysis, and I got a kidney transplant. So through that whole journey, if you're not resilient, you're not here.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But when you speak about that, it is an inner drive. There's something on the inside of you that just says, I'm not going to quit. Just what's next?
I hope, though, that you get your message out, because there are a lot of people that are on dialysis who give up. And then there are a lot of people who get a kidney and just think because you put it in that life is back to normal. It takes a lot of work. I know somebody close that went through it too. It's a lot of work. So the more that you share that, we can help people. And that's what this Howie doing it, having been in sales my whole life and making quotas and doing commission, is a little different right now. I'm helping people, and it feels really good because the feedback I get from my talks and my dailies and what I'm doing it's helping people. And there's nothing better than just being able to help mankind.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I really do. And I believe that the more the good people succeed, the better the world will be. I really do. I think that, and I mean, talking success, I am talking monetarily. And I think it's because with that money becomes a platform or a power or something like that. And I think that we as entrepreneurs and people can really make a difference in this world if more good people succeed.
Yep. And, I'm telling you, there are a lot of companies out there now with purpose. I don't think we had that before.
No.
And, whether it's from paper that they use, my daughter is an environmentalist, and she went into my Amazon account. I didn't know this was an option, and clicked. So now when I get an Amazon delivery, they don't use plastic in there.
Oh, wow.
Right. Who knew?
I didn't know that either.
Right. She, this is the world she lives in. And so she clicked it for me, and I don't even realize it, but there's a lot less plastic around here now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
I didn't even know that was possible. I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't know.
Yeah. Maybe there's our business.
Hey, there we go.
I actually, I'm so proud. I had her on my podcast yesterday. She's currently getting her MBA and Master's in Environmental Sciences. And I had her on, and the feedback from my audience is, I learned so much. There's so much more we can do. And simple steps, baby steps. It's just that It's not in our face. We don't know it. And so she shared some stuff. So if anybody wants to listen to an amazing episode, it's Howie doing it. You can find me on any podcast service, or just go to my homepage, click podcasts, and you can see the interview with Natalie Kra.
And we'll have that down in the show notes or the description below on YouTube. So we'll have that link for them. They can just go down right there. They don't have to type it in or anything. They can just go right down and click that link, and they can go right to your page.
Awesome.
So this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you being on today. Is there anything you want to leave everybody with today?
No, I think I appreciate you having me. I think that we all need to be grateful for what we have. Don't play the comparison game. Just give it your all, right? We just have to set goals, be realistic, hold ourselves accountable, and then turn that discipline button on and be disciplined. And nobody's going to do it but you. And as much as we put ourselves out there, it just doesn't land on your lap. You got to make it happen. So you and I are making it happen here today. I look forward to continuing the conversation. Great meeting you, and I appreciate the time.
Totally appreciate you too. I appreciate you coming on. Everybody click that subscribe button and the bell. And like I said, I really appreciate every one of you that listened to the show, and everybody have a wonderful day.